Smith was justified in slapping Chris Rock for a comment about his wife Jada. That's our poll this morning.
Yeah, I got one more no for you. It's from Mo Guest.
All right. So that would give us then 16 people said no. 16 people said no. They are not. They do not think that Will Smith was justified in slapping Chris Rock, and 7 people said yes, he is justified, for a total of 23.
Interesting enough, someone sent me a video a while ago about Chris Rock on a previous Oscar
2016.
laying in on Will and Jada about Jada being angry and saying she was going to boycott the Oscars because Will was not nominated for Concussion. And he was saying he was poking a lot of fun at Jada Pinkett Smith, saying that Jada boycotting the Oscars is like him boycotting Rihanna's panties. So you can't boycott something you're not invited to, and alluding to the fact that Will wasn't nominated, so it was a big deal anyway. So it's not the first time he's laid into them. So that may provide some context as to why Will felt, this was going to be another tirade, as some would say, on him and his wife that had happened at a previous Oscar.
Yeah.
Chris Rock had not been shot about going in on the Smiths at a previous Oscar.
Yeah,
I mean, he already went in on them on that Oscar.
Yeah, that was in 2016. I just saw it on television here because
so
they know they
say,
it
not tonight. I went through that time, and there was even more material this time around, given the entanglement with August situation for Chris Rock to go into. So Will must have told himself, you know what? Not tonight. I'm not going to.
I've had enough. I
don't think he handled well, though.
We all reach that stage, don't we?
Yeah. And he weighed in, and Chris Rock weighed in on the fact that Will Smith got $20 million for the movie Wild Wild West.
Yeah, he
in a derogatory tone.
He said he's accustomed to poking fun at the Smiths.
Yeah, I think that has had enough.
Speaking of this weekend.
One second, Paul, because when Chris Rock said it, I mean, ABC News is dissected, and Will Smith is supposed to be on GMA on ABC this morning, that he actually laughed at the joke. Jada Pinkett rolled her eyes and was visibly upset, and then she looked across at Will Smith. So his laughter went into, she's upset.
It's like, you're going to do this to me again?
Yeah. And I think that's when he reacted.
Remember, I pointed that out earlier on, that you saw when Jada looked at Will and say, well, what are you going to do about this? I'm not happy, So I guess we all reached that breaking point.
Different marriages have different dynamics.
Yeah.
Yep.
Will Smith reached his breaking point last night. That's all.
He didn't reach his breaking point before? Okay.
But I don't know. Yeah, well, I guess, but I don't know.
I think last night was just a culmination of pressure building up in Will Smith about many different issues.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't about a G.I. Jane comment alone. That was a lot of different stuff, including Chris going in on them at previous Oscars, including the August Alsina, including a lot of things he had to deal with coming out of those revelations by his wife, and the global response to. He was basically a parody. He became a parody after Jada disclosed her affair with the young rapper. So I mean, he must tell himself, I ain't with this tonight. Speaking of interesting things I saw on the weekend. When did I saw you were out this weekend? Wendell? Oh, he's talking to somebody.
Yeah, he's talking. I saw his photo.
Sorry. What did I miss?
We're talking about your photo up, Wendell, with the minister of
with a photograph with the new minister of the former minister of Attorney General and the new minister of local government. I said, but Minister Al-Rari has wasted no time in co-opting one of the premier local government exponents in the country to further his cause. I said, but look how fast Faris moved. Faris will lap up with Wendell already, yes?
There was a whole day retreat yesterday of sorts for local government practitioners. PNM.
Working boy.
So former Minister of Local Government, Hazel Manning, was also there, and she took the opportunity to pose with us a bit. And then when Minister Faris came and he spoke, he took the opportunity to pose with us too. So
the man said he's going to use his ability to operationalize, which is what the Prime Minister saw, and which what precipitated this transfer. And to make action in the Ministry of Local Government, because he has a history of making things happen, and he will operationalize the change necessary in local government. So let's see.
Yeah. Well, again, as I said, I am hopeful that he does, because I think what the government, the PNM as a party, needs to go into in this local government election is the issue of pension and gratuity for local government people, especially local government people who spend all their lives in that. Some of them without another job, so they are dependent on that stipend and they serve all these years and then they go with nothing.
I think Minister Rari needs to go and hire Will Smith to learn to spin and work it out.
To slap up somebody?
Not to slap, to show you how you could pivot something from possible negative into a highly positive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess.
But especially if you have leadership aspirations, as in of the party aspirations, you have to be able to deal with the hand that's dealt to you and make the best of it.
Yeah.
That's how you shine.
Exactly. Which is what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's gone out and smartly so, because you can't move up and say, well, this man demote me, this one moving from the Attorney General office to the Minister. No, you have to make it look like if this is a great thing.
You're a team player.
Yeah.
This is a great thing and I will make it work, which is what you do in politics.
Yeah.
And if you make it work, and make it be
it's a feather in your cap,
the best run ministry of local government that has ever
happened,
then it heightens your credentials to battle with whoever is aspiring to the succession of Dr. Rowley. I don't know how many people are battling for that succession. If there is a slate of 5 or 6 people, Wendel, maybe you can tell us.
Or if there's a real battle at all.
I would imagine that battle, that aspiration is open to one and all. You know, but you're right.
But you know, there's always a short list.
Open to one and all doesn't mean one and all will have the courage.
True.
There's always a short list. There is always a short list.
Are you triggered as somebody, Richard, a short list?
I think we are going into our next election with Dr. Rowley as leader.
Of course, that's a fait accompli.
It's clear.
That's a fait accompli. And you know, Minister Al
I don't know. Didn't Dr. Rowley indicate that he wasn't going back up or something? Or am I imagining that?
He had hinted in 20...
This was his last term.
20, yeah.
Yes, so I don't think he would back... Dr. Rowley doesn't strike me as somebody who would backtrack on something that he said.
He's the politician. Let's start with that.
Exactly.
So they could backtrack on the quasi safe zone. Why they can backtrack on that? Give me a break. It's politicians. They'll backtrack and spin anything they want to spin. I think, and especially given the challenges facing this government now and the PNM, lost in Tobago, I think the person who is most poised to take on the challenges would be Dr. Rowley. You understand?
Yeah.
I don't know if he is truly set about because he made the statement, but nobody asked him then. He made that statement. So if
he didn't make a definitive statement, but he hinted.
Well, that's enough. He said
why is hinting?
He said he wasn't. He said he was not. This was his last term.
Well,
I think if he feels
that's not a hint.
Yeah.
So he can't change his mind?
Yes, but I'm saying he's not the sort that would say things glibly in terms of stuff like that.
I don't think he said it glibly. I think he changed his mind, given the circumstances have changed.
Well, a little early to say he changed his mind, huh? It's a little early. But
Dr. Rowley is going back up for leadership, and Dr. Rowley
I don't know.
Into the next election.
I think he may be looking. I think he may be looking at who, because he'll still be there to help in the elections when that's due. What, 3 years from now?
The last person I called in that race ending no more. So wash my mouth.
So, but I don't know. I'll be curious to see how it plays out. Anyway, we'll see 3 years from now.
That's Rambarat. That's Rambarat.
Oh,
yeah. You understand? And
Minister people on the short list. Is that what you said?
But I thought he was
his name last time.
I think that Minister Al-Rari now also has this local government reform bill that the report passed in the House and may come to light. You understand?
Yeah.
And give him some sort of tool to help reform local government past the legislative blocks that are there now, which are particularly the gap between elected officials and those in the administrative office, which is a big gap that causes people to fall into this space of never coming out again and laying blame on things not getting done.
Yeah. I think he
accountability gap.
I think he has a beautiful opportunity as local government minister to really, and I agree with you, Paul, with this reform bill. But my concern with that reform bill are two things. In that if that issue of full-time councillors is initiated, it's going to displace a lot of local government people. And I don't think it will work.
Why
I
so?
don't think it's fair because a
Why
lot
so?
of people, huh?
How so?
Because a lot of people in local government are otherwise employed.
Well, then you'll make.
So they have to make a choice.
And when you'll have to make a choice. It's not about a displacement. You'll be remunerated properly, and now you have no excuse in saying, "Well, I'm only part-time because I have to make a living." That's exactly the problem. The problem is that they are part-time and they really can't put the kind of effort and energy.
Well, I don't know. Well, Paul, to put it in context, I don't know the remuneration could ever be that attractive to some people.
That's where I was going. I only gave me a chance to finish. I don't know that they could come up with any package satisfactory so that local government people could leave the job in wherever ministry or wherever private.
Yeah, I get that point.
I hear you, but it's up to, because at the end of the day, the bill, from what I remember reading, because I was in the GSC, the packages will be decided by the cabinet, the minister, and the minister in that context is the cabinet. So the cabinet is not alien to what we're talking about here either. You'd have to make it attractive enough to make local government a force to be reckoned with, and with somebody like Minister Larry, I'm sure he'll advocate for proper packages so that you attract the people you need.
What they need to do is first begin with local government, and I keep saying this and a lot of people don't like it. It's not part of the Constitution. It has never been proposed to be part of the Constitution, which means a cabinet at the end of the day decides if local government goes forward. If they call an election or whatever, a cabinet, right? So that is one of the things that neither party has ever advocated for local government to be part of the Constitution. And once it's not part of the Constitution, it means issues of gratuity and pension and thing becomes moot. Local government people don't even pay, they don't even take NIS payments from local government people. Do you know that? So
Which
they have
is something
no protection.
I agree that needs to be addressed also.
Yeah, a lot of issues need to be addressed before we even reach the stage of saying, well, all right, full time.
Well, I still think Minister Larry has the opportunity to move it forward significantly if that bill becomes law.
So what you're telling me is that it took you all 60 years to even start discussing tangibly reforming the local government
Clearly,
sector.
of course, that's no secret, Richard.
Yes.
It's been discussed over and over.
The discussion has been taking place for about 20 years.
It's Manning that she's trying to reform local government. There ain't no revelation. Remember, it was county council, then went to corporations. So
Yes.
the evolution has been there, but extremely slow. And still, it will be incremental, but we'll see if Minister Harry can make the difference that's necessary, or at least some difference.
Let me tell you something. When Mrs. Manning was local government minister, Patrick Manning was prime minister, right? She was a very hands-on local government minister. And I had felt so certain that reform was going to take place then. Because which was the reason why Patrick Manning kept postponing the local elections, if you remember. So that the reform could kick in and something tangible. And when I see that didn't happen there, I said, this ain't happening again. And I was mama guide for 5 years under the UNC. Mama guide.
It's because if for some local,
I've been mama guide for another 5 years under the PNM.
Will be a special majority, so you have to take it piece by piece.
No, there's no require no special majority.
For the kind of changes they had originally in that JSC, trust me.
Well, maybe I don't know the changes. Maybe
this one is not special majority, but the one previously, or some of the ones previously, was special majority. That's why it didn't happen.
You see, anytime you're not talking about protecting the local government fraternity, the local government act, anytime you're not discussing that, then you're not discussing anything tangible to me. You understand? If you're not making that part of the Constitution, that it is to be held every 4 years at such and such a time and so on, as how general elections and other things are protected, the THA protected
and they could kick it down the road as far as they want.
Then that would require a constitutional majority.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
And I don't see why if one party proposes it, the other party can
because the other party,
the political environment is too different.
Because the other party is also in control of certain local government, certain local government bodies. So they may be in their interest if they see it's a tangible devolving of power in a really effective way to local government authorities, because it can't be that you have local government reform and it does not include devolving of power to those authorities to manage the communities in which they are set up. If that's not part of it, then you're spinning top in mud and you're wasting people's time.
The other thing I have a concern about is the fund allocation, because part of it is that the money is collected from, I think it's residential properties, to go to the particular corporation. Not so? I think
Not commercial? Not commercial property?
Not commercial, it's residential, not industrial and commercial.
Why not?
That's just how they drafted it. And there was
Because
a lot of
industrial and
remonstration about
commercial...
it. It's the real money, which they wanted in the coffers, in the consolidated fund.
No, but that's not fair.
But even, well, fair is a contextual within
For the community, because those communities are servicing those commercial enterprises by garbage, by whatever else.
According to the Minister of Finance, even with it being residential only, at this stage, according to the Minister of Finance's comments, and I haven't been able to confirm because I haven't checked it, it will still mean that the corporations each still get $30 to $50 million. I think it's
that makes no sense to me. So I have just switched off from that.
Well,
because if it is because the whole point of cities, if you look at around the world where it's really devolved, they try to attract commercial and industrial enterprise. They try to come out and get commercial enterprises to come in because of the property tax and that they would have to pay, etc.
And part of the issue with that also is even in the space of residential collections going to the corporations, it's still not going to work out for the more densely populated municipalities, because they will still get the same amount as the ones that are less densely populated, and it's not going to work out. Because the more densely populated ones like Piako, Tunapuna, and Kuva, Talparo are going to need more money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of the density of the population and the buildings in those areas.
So wait, is the Minister of Finance suggesting that it's a standard increase in payment across the board?
I think that's what the bill envisions.
Well, that makes even less sense. So I'm now totally switched off, and I'm not bothering with local government reform anymore. You all can discuss that. If all you want to discuss that Nancy story, go right ahead.
All I want to discuss in local government is the issue of gratuity and pension for people who have served several terms, at least 2 consecutive terms. You understand? That they walk away with something for their efforts over the years.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's fair whenever you're not getting it this wrong.
Well, to me that's the only thing you could go into an election with right now.
Yeah, to me that's very fair, and it's very inequitable that it does not exist. Yeah. Because these are the people who now, despite sometimes I do criticize local government for a lot of the incompetencies or ineffectiveness in terms of how things are managed in communities across Trinidad and Tobago. The reality is that people are elected. These are the people many times when places are flooded out and stuff, etc. They're the ones there trying to navigate it. And their elected representatives, certainly whatever their packages, should include what you're talking about.
Yes, it must.
That's just fair. It should not be, know that we treat ourselves, particularly in the halls of Parliament and the Senate, and we treat people in local government differently in terms of the security of their packages.
Yeah, I don't know if people are aware.
Because people in Parliament would enjoy a lot of what you're talking about.
Yes, after 1 term, they enjoy that. Even if they serve for 1 day, and gratuity is paid over a period of time. You understand? Yeah. So, and I'm saying, if local government people don't know local government, the stipend for a local government practitioner is $4,320 a month.
Which is ridiculous.
Yep.
That's what the
are members of parliament allowed to have another job? Not cabinet members.
If they're not cabinet, if they're
senators, yes.
Non-cabinet members.
Non-cabinet members, yes.
Yeah.
So why would you be putting that stricture on local government officials?
Exactly.
Well, I don't know why it hasn't been addressed before, because
it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
But then it doesn't make sense, because members of parliament, if I understand how parliamentarians think, members of parliament will never be less paid than government officials.
Never.
No.
Their salaries will always be at a higher tier level. And if at that higher tier level, they're allowed to continue whatever other jobs they do or businesses or private practices with non-cabinet members, then certainly local government officials who are being paid at a lower tier should have no should not be confined that they have to have a full-time job. That makes no sense now. Now you're being inequitable yet again. At a lower salary point.
It depends on the package that is envisioned for full-time.
And it will never be, well, I am suggesting, Paul, that no matter what package they come up with, it's never going to be more attractive than members of parliament. That's what I'm suggesting.
Never.
And if members of parliament are allowed to have alternative jobs, then you cannot say, I'm paying you less, your package is less attractive, but you have to be there full time. That makes no equitable sense to me.
Yeah. I don't know why the UNC has been silent on some of these issues. I really don't know why. You know, I'm surprised, and UNC is made up with a lot of local government people. You know, I'm surprised that they've been silent on some of these issues. You know, I talk enough. I stop talking now. I talk here. I don't talk nowhere else. You understand? I've been raising the issue though. I raised it at General Council, and I raised it at Central X, and I raised it at legislative meeting. That issue of gratuity and pension for local government practitioners. Let them,
but in your personal interface,
contributory pension, and make sure that they get some sort of gratuity when they walk away at the end of the day. That's all I've been championing over the last few years.
But in your personal interaction with the new minister of local government, and what is your sense? Did you get any feedback or any sense of his approach to the ministry or anything like that you wish to share with us?
Well, I didn't have a personal interaction with him. I had a very public one yesterday that I could share. It was videotaped and sent to me, where I raised these issues and he responded. Of course, Faris is not the kind of person he overtalks you, right? In other words, when you're talking, he interrupts you. He anticipates what you're saying and he goes down that road, right? So yesterday he did me that, but I let him, and then I went back to my point. You understand? So I'm going to send the video in our chat for you all to see the interactor and hear his response. Because an attorney general who was drafting laws, coming into the position of local government minister now, where certain things need to be drafted and put forward, to me is the ideal person. So I put that to him yesterday. I said, we just got a gift horse. You understand? Because you're the ideal person. And he said, Wendel, yes, I hear you. I'm on the same page. And this is what needs to be done. And he took us through the process. So to me, get it going. Get the process going, unless you now can't go to Reginald Armour and say, hey, let me get this so and so. You understand?
Why can't he's a member of the same cabinet?
That's what I said. Unless you can't go. To me, you have the perfect opportunity going into our local government elections to say, this is what we're going to do for local government people now. You understand? This is what we're giving you all. You can't get a better campaign issue to campaign on than something of a promise that if you come into this organization now, you will be taken care of at some point in time down the road. Is UNCP, everybody, and I reminded him yesterday that at local government level, the UNC and the PNM get along better. There's a better synergy and relationship between local government practitioners than there is at the parliamentary level.
You know why?
Because at that level, you're catching together.
Exactly.
Not only that, I keep telling people, it's because they are not under the glare of a publicly broadcast exchange. A lot of what you see is because the cameras are running. And Parliament got different when the country started broadcasting those proceedings, because it is political theater most of the time.
Yeah, it got worse, you mean?
It got worse. Because that is one-upsmanship. Because I'm telling you, back behind the scenes, when JSCs are not broadcast and the deliberations, they are primarily constructive and cooperative. When the cameras go on, the whole demeanor and posture change. All the demeanors and postures change.
You're saying Fitzgerald Hines has kumbaya moments with UNC politicians?
Yeah, I'm Will Smith here, right? Like I'm Will Smith here this morning. Keep my wife's name out of your mouth.
I hear poor Avi struggling to say this morning, and she say expletive included. I don't know why she didn't say bleep it. Let Richard do it now. Richard, you do it. Bleep it for them.
Huh?
Keep my wife's name out of your bleep mouth. And look now, you saw the anger on Will Smith's face when he said it, especially the second time he said it.
Well, I think, no. By the time he got up and slapped him, walking back to the seat, your brain starts to do the antivirus, So now, by the time you get back, you have to justify it even more with more indignation and outrage. You understand?
Yeah.
And that was what's happening here because he repeated it.
Yes.
And by that time, he would have been pulled aside and said, Mister, we need to do as much damage control as we can for you. When his team got together before backstage, when Denzel put him square and this one put him square, what is our anger going to be in terms of your speech? Because you have to position this as defending my wife, defending my family, defending all the people in the movie. Remember he put in all of that?
Yes, he went all there.
So that was public relations machinery at
and
work.
Cry a bit. So the onion would have been
cry a bit. Well, he was emotional, so the cry wasn't going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Because he was extremely emotional, and then he knows what's at stake at that moment. Because remember, I am Mr. Nice Guy.
Yes.
My whole persona is crafted as Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Non-violent, Mr. Non-confrontation.
Yes.
And that outburst or that display was totally alien to what I have crafted my persona as.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, they would have told him, Mister, if you said nothing else in that speech, talk about defending your wife, defending your family, because you could sell that.
Yes, yes.
And now that's not true.
Yeah.
Tie it into defending people in the movie, because it's an Oscar moment. And then we take it from there after that. Because, remember, he would have been booked for morning shows because he was touted to win the Oscar.
Right.
So he knew he has a whole week of appearances. And right now, Oprah people making ready for that, because it's all about Oprah right now. And Oprah
He's supposed to be on GMA this morning.
So they're going to position that whole thing, because Oprah is really good at it. Oprah is the best PR machine you could go on.
Yeah.
Well, I think
depending on if she feel for you, she don't feel for you.
I think shows would have booked whoever the best winner was.
I said that just now.
Whoever the best winner was going to be.
Yeah.
It may not necessarily have been, him, but it turned out to be him. And it turned out to be a bacchanal considering him. So it's a good guest to have this morning, because obviously journalists are going to raise that issue with him.
It's a win-win.
Could you imagine a show with him and Chris Rock on the same show now? Could you imagine
when you say a show, what do you mean by a show?
An interview then. Somebody interviewing both of them together.
Well, I'm sure when they patch up them stuff, they'll come on together.
That's not going to happen anytime soon.
Some people don't patch up,
Let me tell you something that works with this too. Both their profiles are extremely magnified this morning. All publicity is good publicity if managed properly. Okay?
You know what they're going to do, right? You know they're going to play back all Chris Rock's insensitive comments in the past, right?
Well,
somebody's going to do that.
But insensitive, as Richard said, insensitive in what way? He's a comic, and Oscars are notorious for being semi-roasts.
Yeah.
So as Richard said, there is no line until somebody said the line has been crossed,
Yeah, and I'm just saying...
The comic's job is to push the line, push the envelope.
It's going to make good TV now.
The comment about G.I. Jane was mild. Now, I keep saying that you cannot quantify someone's feeling of hurt, because it's always built on what happened before. So you never really reacting to what is said. You're reacting to what happened in your own life and how you feel about the particular situation.
Yeah.
So you can't say that he wasn't justified because it's he feeling it.
No, but let me tell you something, and I'm going to say it. If all you don't want to say it, I'm going to say it. And I know I might get grilled for it, but I'm going to say it. Will Smith was provoked by Jada Pinkett Smith to do what he did. That's how I saw it.
Will
That's how I read
Smith
it.
is a grown man in charge
Paul,
of his.
you don't have to agree with me.
I am
Paul, you
not
don't have to
saying.
agree with me.
I'm telling you, Will Smith is a grown man in charge of his own destiny and agency.
Right.
And yes, your wife may or may not have a certain level of influence on you. And yes, she may have shown disapproval, strong disapproval to what was being said and watching. Like, you're gonna let it pass, right? You're gonna let it pass again. Because he jammed me last time when you sit down and do nothing. Well, let me rephrase that. He didn't jam me. Right? But in the same sphere, Will Smith could have said he was provoked by Jada Pinkett Smith in a public
He
forum.
wouldn't say that.
He had an affair with a 22-year-old.
He wouldn't say that.
No. He wouldn't say that. He wouldn't bring
No,
his
he
family.
won't, because
he wouldn't
people
bring his
respond in
family into that.
different ways.
That is a further toxic pool you want to go back into.
And I keep saying, what we saw last night was a man in pain.
Yep. That for sure. That's
what
for
we
sure.
saw.
What you saw last night to me, what you saw last night to me was a man who was defending the honor of his wife.
That I agree with that.
For a comment that he felt was inappropriate, and that's pretty much what he said in his speech.
And not for the first time.
And yes, and some are
Pretty much that's what he said in his speech.
Some are suggesting defending your wife from a comment made should not descend into a physical assault on a stage.
Well, that's a different. That's a different
I don't think he was
conversation in a
defending
sense.
any wife. And if he was, and if we have to go down,
I think he was defending his wife.
He was defending his wife.
He was defending his wife.
Hold on.
The way he chose to defend her was inappropriate.
Well,
but he was defending his wife.
If he has to go down the road of defending his wife, I don't know that he willingly did it.
You keep feeling that Will Smith is.
No, I think Will Smith.
No, he willingly did it. No pun intended. He willingly.
Yeah, I think Will Smith is. Will Smith has never struck me as a man lacking in confidence and lacking in his sense of action and when he should act and when he should not act. He has never indicated that before. He may not have initially realized how upset his wife was, and that his wife was, and then realizing how much it hurts her because of the alopecia that she suffers from. Then because he could have. Because
and
he,
past comments
I don't know that she was
comments on Chris Rock.
Well, I don't know that she provoked him
into action. And I agree with that. I disagree with that.
I think it can be based in love that you, from a contextual point of view, didn't realize how much your wife was hurt by a comment. You have now realized, and the love that you have for her kicks in, and it kicks in an aggressive way.
I know that I keep saying this
couple
sat in
because you never understood. You've never had the kind of love that he has with Jada. That's all. We understand that, Wendell. So it's hard for you to contextualize that you would ever get up to slap
where's the
anybody for your
laugh? Where's the bad laugh? I keep telling you.
That's not love.
Wendell.
Yep, that's not love at all. That's
if I didn't say that, Will Smith, no.
No,
but because as Richard said, you'll get that pass.
No, Richard. Well, Richard knows a lot more about me than you do, probably.
Well, clearly, that is very clear that he knows that you have that kind of love for somebody before.
Think he right?
Wow. Woo. Woo. Wow.
That was a whipped Will last night. Whipped and hurt Will.
It's a hurt man. But keep in mind also, this man and this woman sat down and smiled through Chris Rock lambasting them before an Oscar ceremony. You understand? And not mild, and going on and on and on.
Yeah, because that's how he is.
Think of that in the context. Think of that in the context of a comic on stage, and you realize you get it because you all were mentioning something early. Comics take a temperature in the room as they say something. As he said it, he looked at the reaction. He said, "But I was mild."
Yeah. He said it's a
so
joke.
He took the temperature and realized they were offended And strongly so, because he saw the facial reaction change.
Yes.
But comics take the temperature all the time. Okay, that one went well, I could go to another one level. That one went well, I could go to another level. So Will Smith say, before you do like last time and spend 5 minutes with me and my wife, and I know you're going to bring in August Alsina, I'm going to stop it now. And that's why he said, keep my wife's name out of your bleeping mouth. Because it's not the first time.
Yes.
And he knew he went on for 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes before. So that G.I.G. comment in his Will's mind could have been the first lining up to go, because you're getting laughs. And your job is to get laughs. I ain't going through that this time.
Yeah.
And the way Will walk up calmly, he could have been going to shake his hand, you know. He was unaware, because Chris Rock is not thinking that on this Oscar night broadcast, this man going to slap me.
Nope.
Yeah.
So he thought he couldn't hug me, he couldn't shake my hand, he couldn't tell me stop quietly. He ain't going to slap me.
You know, you wonder now when you look back at it, if Will's intention when he got up and was approaching Chris Rock was to hit him. You wonder.
Yeah, he was going to hit him.
At the point
when
that
you left that seat,
when you left that seat, you've made a decision.
When you made that, like, one time you get up from that seat, you made a decision. Because you're going to get up and point at him, eh?
Yes.
But he got up and he started to walk immediately.
Yes.
And he didn't hesitate.
And of course, and of course, it comes back, if there is a lesson to be learned out of this, it comes back to the issue of anger and the management of anger and conflict.
Yeah.
You make a decision, or you choose how you respond to an adverse situation. You choose to be angry.
Yeah.
You choose. It's a choice, huh?
Yeah.
And Will Smith made that choice.
He made a choice. You know what?
It's a choice.
Another actor who won in a category said, and it's something that people are discussing. Richard, you would know this. In that context, there are many people who would have won Oscars who would never win Oscars again. There are many people who worked so hard to win Oscars, and their entire moment has been dissolved.
Yes and no. I don't think so.
You're still an Oscar winner, but your moment of receiving that Oscar is gone. Nobody cares about it again after that slap.
Yes and no.
Look at look how they play back Halle Berry's crying when she won the Oscar.
Yeah, because that was momentous. I think.
Anybody had a moment after that slap?
Yeah. I mean, you had speeches after.
Yeah, nobody cared.
In terms of things, but people celebrate. I mean, people really celebrated the film Coda, which would have won a few awards. They would have won, best supporting actor, best film, best director was Jane Campion.
What's Coda about, Richard?
Coda is set in a small village where Coda is child of deaf adults. That's what Coda means. And so she is the story centers around the girl, the daughter, who is hearing. She's not deaf, but her parents are, and her brother is. So she's from a family where she's the only hearing adult. Oh. And it's in this small village where there are fishermen. The father and the son are part of a fishing cooperative, and of course it becomes there's a lot of conflict between a bigger company that wants to take it over and stuff. And so she's navigating her own life and her own journey as a young adult girl, but also navigating what her family is going through. And sometimes she has to be the voice because people don't understand the signing, or people don't understand. They're not necessarily getting the nuances of how people are trying to attack them, if you understand what I'm saying. So she becomes the person who understands everything about the world that's going on. She understands the both worlds. And she's trying to navigate. So it's that kind of story. So it's a drama. It's funny at points, but a very heartwarming, that kind of film. So that's what Coda is about.
I'll eventually take a look at it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what's also weird about this Will Smith. It has brought back all the pain of that entanglement situation in the public discussion again.
But Will Smith not guiltless in those in entanglements. He's not guilt-free.
The entanglement wasn't the issue in Wendel. The public disclosure of the entanglement without him clearly being told before is the issue.
Yeah, and that was meant to hurt.
But I don't know that. I don't know her intention. I don't know. You can't say that.
Oh, please.
You could say that. You sound like Richard was right just now. No, I think Richard was wrong.
Of course, I tell you, Richard is right about a lot of things with me. But I'm telling you, I'm not a.
Why would she want to hurt him like that? Why?
No, but I'm not averse to talking about my.
Why would she want to
my
hurt him like
private
that? What would she gain from hurting him like that?
What do people gain from hurting Paul? Satisfaction, some kind of satisfaction. They gain. A lot of people gain a lot from hurting people. You know?
I want to book a session for you, yes.
No, I'm just telling you. A lot of people gain a lot from.
I don't know that her intention was to
But I
hurt
don't
him.
know that they gain anything.
I thought she was
think-
insensitive.
I don't think
I
they
thought she was
gain
really
anything.
insensitive, but I don't think she planned it to hurt him. I thought she made a disclosure, not thinking about the consequences it would have
You don't think
for
people
her
planned-
husband sitting down and having to listen to you tell the world that you had a relationship with a young man.
And you don't think people plan to hurt people?
We're talking about that specific situation. I'm not talking about generally. People plan to hurt people all the time.
Okay.
We're talking about that situation.
So I'm sure Jada would have thought about what she was going to say and say, I'm going to say it anyway.
Well, I
understand?
don't think, I'm not in her heart and her mind, but I don't get that she planned to hurt him. I know she hurt him, but I don't think she planned to hurt him.
Okay.
But because you're right, they both seem to have had some sort of understanding that this is a different kind of marriage arrangement,
Yeah.
as is common in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But as we said before, doing it and disclosing it on public television is something totally different.
Right. And it's just that Will was better, probably, at
But you
managing.
don't have to go to
managing
Hollywood to
his
get those kind of
entanglement.
marriages, Paul.
Huh?
You don't have to go to Hollywood to get those kind of marriages.
They're right here.
Yeah. Human
And
beings
I'm
are
saying
human beings.
probably-
Remember, celebrities are human beings. Human beings are human beings. They may have more access
Yeah.
and they will attract more because of the aura that surrounds them in terms of fame. But trust me, those kinds of incidents happen all the time.
Yeah. Will, in my opinion, Will probably was better at keeping his entanglements or his lifestyle away from Jada and the effect it would have been having on the marriage, right? Maybe he was better at it. And Jada decided, but Jada may have been aware and decided, listen, my way of hurting you now is coming out publicly and saying, I had an affair with a young man, half my age. You understand? So,
Well,
okay.
we're going down the speculation road. We don't know.
True.
And that's their personal
That's what
business and that's their personal marriage.
And somebody intend to hurt somebody.
Yeah. So I'm just
But you
saying
know,
that that's their personal business.
Human
Of course,
beings.
because they are who they are, we discuss it. But ultimately, coming back to the slap, it's about how do you control your reactions, and not only that, it's control your reactions in the literally the biggest stage in the world.
In the world.
And
Literally.
that's when the devil shows up. Denzel Washington is exactly
The devil
correct.
was there already.
That's when he shows up.
No, the
Devil
devil
was
doesn't
there
show up
all the time.
because we have control
You like to
over
blame the
our
devil and
actions.
everything. Or you love to
So
observe for yourself.
because
Or
you
you love to
reacted
observe
a
or you
certain
say, blame
way,
the devil.
you want to
Everything's the
blame
devil.
Satan.
Yeah, they want to blame Satan for everything. Oh, they love to
So
blame.
that's
It's not
always
me,
going to
Satan
be-
do it.
It's always going to be the
You,
crutch.
it's not Satan, it's you. Or you
It's
love
how you
Satan is the fall
navigate
guy for half or your
situations.
malfeasance.
You know, two of you are speaking at the same time, right?
Yeah. I was just going to tell him that. All right, we got to wrap up, gentlemen. I'm getting the Jada Pickett's with Look from AV. So I've got to run to my news.
And tell her this
brief.
is not the boom, eh, Steve? This is not the boom. Tell her
Yeah,
focus
she
on
realized her
the-
mistake.
Okay.
Let's get into our news brief, all powered by Champlain Auto Services.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
There is no law nor policy to stop anyone from videotaping police officers on active duty. Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines says in doing so, people must not obstruct officers or they could face penalties under two laws. Hines says that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service does not have a specific policy regarding members of the public taking